Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, I'm going back to a list that we tried recently. I'm basically, for the moment, I'm mostly going to be recycling lists until the new edition comes out because I've had a lot of fun with some of these lists and I really want to go back and make sure we get used to them before they disappear forever. And it's going to be our Astra Fastback list. So the point of this list was to try and get Switchback out as quickly as possible, take advantage of Astra's double activations, and basically just put the damage out as soon as we possibly can. So the reason we can do this is basically we're going to aim to not spend any leadership on turns 2 and 3, or sorry, on turn 2, so we can spend it turn 3, and to make up for that, our early drops, the standard strongest ones we can get, Deadeye and Maximus. Other than that, everything else is just built around having a bit of value to it. So we've got Broken Vengeance, Aria, Shrapnel, Amplify Biter, all things that really work well, sort of ranged buffing things. So Amplify Biter works well here. We've got Teutonia for a bit of out of line of sight. We've got Neck Divine just to try and keep us safe if we do end up, trying to rely solely on Switchback. And then we've got Hit and Run, who not only works quite well with Astra, but also I really love Ambush. I think it's a really valuable ability, and hopefully we can make good use of that in the game. So if you do enjoy these games, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe, join us over on Patreon. Anything you do to support the channel is really appreciated, but for now, I'll see you once we get in the game. Okay, we have found ourselves a game. We're against Riley Robinson 5898. So it's a level 16 Zax player, so this should be quite an interesting one. We've got a really solid start in mind. We're going to be just going for that really quick switchback, see if we can put that damage out. Ooh, not many places to hide up here. Interesting. So I think my plan's going to be is just trying to move over here, deploy a Deadeye or something, maybe even a Maximus somewhere fairly safe behind here, and just try and get ourselves at least a little bit of scoring started here. We won't be able to see Zax, I don't imagine, no, but we can deploy fairly safely. So with just one unit, I think Maximus is what we want to do. We want to just stay as safe as possible. We could just take that shot, I guess. Don't want to mess around with any of those. We'll grow some Cinder. Maybe also here, make it harder to hit Maximus. We're not really needing the Cinder. We don't really care if they kill it or hit it, whatever. We're just trying to play fairly safely early on, and then we're trying to work our way towards the switchback. So they haven't got great angles here. This actually, Cinder Sphere worked wonders for us. If I were them, I'd probably even just consider shooting it, at least make some difference to the game state. And then we're just going to go and poke some damage onto whatever they put out. Okay, so they've just placed a mine. We don't really care about the mine, just like they probably don't really care about this. So we can just see what they deploy is the big question. Because if they deploy both Maximus and Deadeye, then we are going to have a little bit of a struggle, so we're just going to play more securely. Move a little further back. Yes, there's Maximus, and this is probably Deadeye. So honestly, I don't even hate just ignoring the mine. Oh, it's Antios, okay. So can we get a good angle onto their Maximus? No, we can't. So all I'm going to do is just try and get a reasonable angle onto Zax. So this seems good. Or actually, this also seems pretty reasonable. Just get a bit onto Antios there. Hopefully get both. We did. That's nice. So we could go and hold here, but we don't really need to. We're just going to play safe. Is there anything we can do on this point that it gives us that angle that we want? So I mean, they gave us the better angle here, so we might as well take it. We did miss, but it's fine. And we will grow ourselves a Cinder over here, and we're just going to pop. In fact, no, they don't have much range damage, so given that we're going to be able to hide next turn anyway, we're just going to pop back here and just keep ourselves safe, save all our leadership, and play Switchback next turn. So we are going to struggle with points. Next turn is going to be awkward, but okay, if they're just pulling that forwards, we don't really have a problem with that. It's leaving basically resources available we can't really interact with, but it's also meaning that they're going to be, I mean, sure, if they blow it up for the sake of a Cinder Sphere, that's absolutely fine. We're going to be just putting a bit of damage down. That seems perfect. We spent 1 Cinder on that, and they've spent 3. So, pretty happy there. Also, this turn, there is a reasonable chance that we can just kill Antios, which would be amazing. So, even if they get this, we don't care too much. We're willing to give up points if we can kill Antios here, so this does actually look quite likely. So let's go for it. I'm on board for this. What's their follow-up going to be? Because we're going to basically be deploying Switchback back here anyway. Okay, so that's awkward. Broken Vengeance is really good at the moment, like at this point in the game. But we can, however, get a really good chance of just killing Antios here. And we'll move over to Astra. We'll into the breach. Pop back over for 100% this time. There we go, perfect. We'll pop back here to hide. Astra can come out for 98 and then hit again and run away. And then we can deploy Switchback, which goes over here, as safe as we can make it, I think. It's probably just back there. Pop a Cinder Sphere here for defensive purposes, I guess. And we'll just... we can try and pop back over for safety for points, but... I actually think maybe like here works better. Just make them stay... in fact, we want Broken Vengeance to have to move to hit us. So we're fine if Zax hits us, but we want Broken Vengeance to have to move to hit us. That's what we're going to go for here. So now next turn, in theory, we can just start putting the hurt on the captain, or if they expose Maximus or something else, we can probably kill that unit as well. So let's see what they do. We need to keep Switchback alive, because that's potentially 12 damage. And if we can get a line onto Zax, we can really make good use out of that and just start chipping away at the captain. I do think killing Antios is probably right, although a couple of hits onto this means that we're very close to actually having a game plan in place already. Only one hit there is nice. If Broken Vengeance has to move as well, that's great. Yep. So the question is, can we get a really solid approach to just deal with something here? Like, Broken Vengeance is probably the biggest threat to us at the moment. That's also fine. The fact this has moved is great. So now we almost definitely are just going for captain damage. But we're only going to have 4 Cinder, but that is actually enough. So let's go for that. Let's push on the captain unless they play something that we really need to kill. That might be it. It may be that we just go for 2 shots there, 2 shots here. This doesn't matter. If anything, this might just make our life a bit easier. Because we don't really care about the mine. So, in fact, it does make it slightly awkward.
Let's let our hair down.
So, let's just deal with the mine first. In fact, what's the angle here? 81. I don't even hate that. Let's just go for that. Of course we miss one. We're going to shoot the mine. Yeah, because the mine does actually affect the race here, so we'll just hit that with Maximus. Pop over here, get... let's go for what, 85 is reasonable, then we should be able to pop back around the side slightly again. Into the breach again. Go for this, just push more damage in. Again, move to safety, and now what do we deploy here to just defend ourselves? It could even just be something like Broken Vengeance, or we can put hit and run at the back, or... we've got 4. You know what, I think it's going to be Arya back here, and pop Deadeye just about here, maybe. In fact, Deadeye should have gone closer to protect ourselves a bit more. But with Arya back here, they're now sort of torn in multiple directions. We can go for hit and run on a future turn. I don't know what they do here. Like, we're going to fall behind on points rapidly, so we need to start putting things in here. Deadeye is very much a distraction piece here. It's not actually something we're hoping to win the game with. But if they can get... if they can't get onto... yeah, there we go. They can't get onto Switchback here, so this is great news for us. So Zax is going to be able to get defensive, but we're going to be able to start clearing up units. And that's going to be what we have to do. So they're absolutely... oh my goodness, that miss is huge. Because now they have to use Zax here and potentially Maximus as well. So all of their resources go into that, which means none of it goes into Arya. Yeah, and now they have to hit with Maximus as well. This doesn't do anything. They need... so for anyone who's a new player, placing the mine and then pulling it is very rarely the right thing to do. If I were them, I'd be considering moving backwards more or moving Maximus up to try and deal with this. The mines don't really accomplish much on their own. Like, it's slowing us down 1 point, but realistically, what are we doing with our other units anyway here? And now they've left us in a position where, okay, this is hit and run, but if this is hit and run, there is a chance we could just win the game here. So we're just going to ignore everything else, push full captain damage. If they don't put something about here, they're in a lot of trouble. Okay. So let's go for this. So we've got... we can get to an 83% chance here and still be touching, which is perfect. So we're just going to push for this first. Hopefully we'll hit all 4 of these. We did hit the first 2, or into the breach. We can get up to 86 if we just push forward, so that's what we're going to do. And just, we really wanted the aggressive approach here. We should have actually used Deadeye here, but it's fine. We will Ozos onto ourselves. Get the 92. We missed that. Coming with Maximus. To be honest, I think we just use Maximus to body block here anyway. And then Arya's just going to come up as far as we can and try and get the best percentage shot we can get. Okay, we did miss. That's not ideal, but we're not out of this in the slightest. We've got Detonia that's just an instant kill, so we can just pop Detonia down there, or we can also go for hit and run as well. And I honestly think we just do both. So I think we pop hit and run over here, and Detonia over here. Oh yeah, we've also got Astra just to shoot, so have we got anywhere with a decent line of sight? No, so we'll just pop over here and shoot their Detonia, I guess. And Deadeye can just be back to hold this. Nothing else really to do. So we did get a bit unfortunate on a couple of shots there, but honestly, this is perfectly fine. They're going to have to try and deal with literally everything that we've got to offer and hide. So I mean, for instance here, how do they deal with hit and run? They probably have to Broken Vengeance it. How do they deal with Maximus, which is also lethal? They're going to have to deal with that. They can't get over here with hit and run. They have to deal with literally everything we've got, unless they've got something that can heal this turn, like Defense Dome, maybe they're one of their only plays here. So again, this is good. Puts Maximus to dead, and we only need 1 damage onto our Switchback for them to kill that. But then they have to deal with everything else. Detonia on her own kills the enemy captain next turn. This puts 4 damage onto our captain, but that's about it. Like, there's a lot of bits and pieces, but I just don't know if they've got enough. Defense Dome is all I can think of here, actually. Like, we could lose. We're not out of losing, but yeah. If they didn't have Defense Dome, I don't know how they can manage it. So there we have it. That was a good use of our Switchback list. I really, really enjoy that. Like, I actually think it's really fun getting something big and impactful out really early on. And I think, given the future changes to the game, you might actually see that more often, seeing as basically the lowest cost units now sort of start around 2 on the experimental server. So it might be worth saving up a bit more for those bigger units. So if you've enjoyed this, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join us over on Patreon. Anything you can do to support the channel is really, really appreciated. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, have a good day.